I'd like to call this meeting to order. I have a new gavel, so be warned. I'd like ask Monica to take the roll, please, to confirm the quorum.
Trustees, when I say your name, please say if you're present. And just a reminder to please use your microphone because we do have some Zoom participants. Chair Chen,
Present.
Vice Chair Price-Jones, Trustee Keller,
Present.
Trustee Moore,
Present.
Trustee Pastrone,
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
Trustee Stanton-Buttram,
She is with us.
she's with us, we'll work on that. Trustee Tuminello,
Present.
Trustee Uvala,
Present.
Chair Chen, you have quorum.
Thank you. Hopefully, Trustee Stanton Buttram will be able to speak at some point. She is here, I think, with us.
She was on, I don't see her right now, so we're working right now to see what's going on.
Maybe she's having issues. Before we start, I'd like to thank Trustee Moore. She is sitting in as vice chair. Trustee Price-Jones couldn't be with us today, so thank you very much for filling in. Okay, this afternoon, we are pleased to hear the final report. Oh, welcome, everyone. Sorry. I was so excited about my gavel, I forgot to welcome you.
Approve the agenda.
Oh, no, we have a sabbatical report.
But don't you have to approve the agenda first?
Oh, sorry. I got so excited welcoming you. Okay, thank you for confirming the quorum. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, will you take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approved?
Trustee Keller,
Approved.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Pastrone,
Approve.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton-Buttram, Trustee Tuminello,
Approve.
Trustee Uvala,
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, now getting to the portion that I went to too quickly. This afternoon, we are pleased to hear the final report from the last faculty member who was on sabbatical last year. The board approved 6 sabbaticals, and we have thoughtfully scheduled their reports throughout the academic year. Dr. Lindsay, would you like to invite Dr. Milner to introduce our faculty presenter?
Jacine is on now.
Dr. Milner, would you please?
Sure. Good evening, and thank you, President Lindsay, and thank you to the board for your continued support for our faculty sabbaticals. Jennifer Schuster is currently an assistant professor in the Visual Arts Department in the School of Liberal Arts. Professor Schuster has been a faculty member at Anne Arundel Community College for 17 years. Professor Schuster's sabbatical allowed her to complete graduate courses to enhance both her professional and continuing studies as an artist and an educator. Through this process, Professor Schuster learned new skills, observed the teaching process of senior faculty at Towson University, and created new works for her personal portfolio and to support AACC student success. As a result of the sabbatical, Professor Schuster will enhance the design of the curriculum she teaches and expand student learning in the visual arts. Please come forward.
Hi, I'm Professor Jennifer Schuster of the Visual Arts Department, and I'm here today just to talk a little bit about my sabbatical, which was almost 2 years ago at this point, so I appreciate your patience. Life happens sometimes. During this, I completed 2 graduate courses, as Dr. Milner said, and this was primarily to expand my study of design. look at contemporary issues, and work towards a professional certification that Towson offers. I produced professional design projects during this time, added to my personal and educational portfolio of work, researched a new digital portfolio platform that I was able to share with my students, and designed and created new and online work featuring a compilation of work. I updated a current design curriculum for a number of classes based on my research, industry trends that I was able to explore during my graduate study. And all of this was done to hopefully support the growth of my students. I really appreciated being a graduate student because I was able to reconnect with what it was like to be on the other side of all of that. So when they offer those excuses now, I say, no. That's not how this works. Yeah, so how do I, oh, there we go, thanks. I took 2 graduate courses at Towson University, and these were both towards the Design for User Experience certificate. Graduate design for the World Wide Web and letterpress and bookbinding. So they were very different courses, but focused on a lot of contemporary design trends. I was able to also build relationships with Towson professors. Towson is one of our top transfer schools for the visual arts, and I know for the college in general. But as you'll probably know, sometimes those relationships are really important to getting things done. So outside of just being able to meet people while I was there, I was also able to explore responsive websites, which are a process of coding websites so that they adapt to the device that you're on. So this was something that I was able to apply and use when I discussed digital work with my students, but also their portfolios, making sure that it was accessible in multiple ways. I researched accessibility in EPUBs and PDF file formats and incorporated that in my Canvas courses so that my students were aware when they were designing things like books that having different formats allows more accessibility to those different pieces. And I felt like I had a general expansion of my design knowledge for design history, especially with my letterpress and bookbinding class, which talked a lot about the history of printing, and I was able to incorporate that into my type and digital design art courses. Oh, okay, just did that for me. In my responsive class, I actually focused one of my projects on a study of designing website templates for the Journal of Emerging Scholarship, which I'm a committee member on, so that we could kind of take that and build a live website for the journal, and which I think you're going to get to see a copy of the book. My book and letterpress projects that I developed and worked on during this time were also incorporated into my type, my digital design, my image design, and my graphic design 1 coursework. And really kind of took that knowledge and added it into the curriculum to reinforce some of the things that we were already doing. I did a series of journal projects and then used them to do community-based journal making sessions, both with AACC faculty and staff. And that was a lot of fun. I presented and did workshops at the Creative Immersion Retreat in January of 2024, at last year's Summer Institute, and at the Anne Arundel County Public School Professional Development. That's something that we're hoping to continually partner with high school instructors and bringing them in and doing different workshops with them so that they get a chance to make art and see new techniques that they can share with their students, and then hopefully their students and they come to us. So I also did research on the Adobe Portfolio platform. This was an alternative method of presenting work for my art students. Looking at PDF portfolios and researching what are the diversity and accessibility issues with the PDF file format, something that I was able to incorporate into the portfolio sections of each one of my classes this semester, talking about how do you make PDFs more accessible for the people who are viewing your work. That's a file format that often when they apply to art schools and art programs that they have to prepare their work in. I also identified some cost issues and some accessibility issues with the Adobe Portfolio application, and that was something that I was able to discuss with both our department and my students as whether or not they should pursue using that for their professional work. And also incorporated some new lessons regarding all of those things into the digital portfolio class, which is one of the capstone classes that I teach for our department. I developed some new work, which was probably one of my favorite things that I did during this, and developed my own professional portfolio that I could then show as kind of a model to my students. Because of the development of this portfolio and the pieces that I developed, I actually applied to go to the Penland School of Craft last summer. And I went there and produced work that was exhibited in the Paris Co-Fine Arts exhibit in 2023, our faculty exhibits, and as well as Penland's exhibit at the end of the summer. These were all letterpress and bookbinding pieces for the most part, and one of my pieces was on display this last fall if you went to the faculty show. So it's a book about motherhood, and it's called, well, it's called many things, but it's the exploration of the mother load or the mental load of motherhood. So I did that through type. And then also some visual images that I illustrated. If you want to see my work, you can visit it at digitalgenmyportfolio.com, and that's the portfolio that I also built during my research. So what did I do with all of this? I took a lot of this knowledge and incorporated it into the typography class that I teach, where we explore the history of printing, type design, and also incorporated some journal making. Chris Mona and I actually did a letterpress workshop with my type students, which was a lot of fun. We have a letterpress collection upstairs. If you take a printmaking class, you can print posters and explore wood type. And then in my digital portfolio class, I adapted a previous lecture to really expand more on accessible web and PDF file formats when presenting your work. And then in my Art 106 and Art 262 course, I incorporated bookmaking techniques into portfolios. So instead of just presenting things on the screen, they actually printed and bound and sewed books. So that was a lot of fun. That class attracts a really wide range of students. It's a technology competency, so I have everything from psychology to nursing to art majors in that class. I'm always trying to bring them into the fold. And a lot of them had a lot of fun with their books. So Graphic Design 2 is our 200 level course that a lot of our students take, and I was introduced saddle stitching into that for their final book project. And we have some coordinated design tours, hopefully on the schedule at Towson University next year, to see their resources, because they have things like a full-blown press that we do not have. So I'm excited to take my students to see that next year. I think that's it, unless anyone has questions. I do want to thank the Board of Trustees, Dr. Milner, my dean, and my assistant dean, as well as all of my previous chairs, my professors at Towson University, and especially Eric and Dawn for their constant support while I was gone. And most importantly, my children and my husband, who kind of kept it all together while I was in graduate school and doing all kinds of art making and traveling to New York and Pennsylvania and all these other places. So, yeah, so that's it.
Great.
Any
Thank
questions?
you. Any comments?
I had a comment. If you remember Rick Malmgren, who
Oh,
taught
yeah.
Rick's mother, Ebby, taught me bookmaking and saddle
Oh, that's so
stitching.
cool.
And Rick has, I know, some of Ebby's work.
Yeah, I
if
miss
you
Rick a lot, actually.
Yeah. I'm not sure that you did art or craft or technology
I
or
did.
just have a wonderful life. If
Yeah.
you get into this, it's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
And you really have given your students something that they have today and something that they can continue in the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? I have a comment. I was approached by two students during the unveiling of the journal. And I think the QR code was up on, to the interface, the
Yeah.
website interface. They took me to that, and they said, "You need to look at this. It's so exciting."
It really is.
So when I read this in your presentation, I was like, she did that. So amazing. They were so excited. So thank you so much
It was
for
a
doing
collaborative
that.
effort, because I did the studies of the initial templates, and then we actually recruited a student, and so he actually built a lot of the website out with
Well,
Professor Dunham. So it was very
obviously-
much a joint,
Right.
long-standing effort, so it wasn't just me by any means.
Well,
So,
thank you for your
Professor Dunham.
teaching efforts and for your wonderful report. And you are welcome to stay for the meeting, but you're also welcome to go.
Probably going to go grade, so, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will move on to the consent agenda. Dr. Lindsay, would you like to read the main motion for the board?
Yes, please. The main motion is that the Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, will you take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen?
Approved?
Trustee Keller?
Approved.
Trustee Moore?
Approve.
Trustee Pastrone?
Approve.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram? Approve. Trustee Tuminello?
Approve.
Trustee Uvala?
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Monica. Now we'll move on to the committee reports. The first report is from the Board Development Committee. Trustee Tuminello.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Board Development Committee met on April 22nd, and again today, just before this meeting. And to review the results of the 24-25 board self-assessment and to plan for the upcoming May mini retreat scheduled for Thursday, May 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. via Zoom to analyze that report. There was 100% participation from our board members. The results are included as part of this report. I mean, why do we do a self-assessment? And we do it every year. So one way, this is one way that the board demonstrates a formal commitment to continuous improvement. We identify areas for growth and support. We recalibrate our priorities. Not everything can be first all the time. We ensure accountability, and we guide our future planning. So the committee, very active committee here, looks forward to engaging the board in a meaningful discussion on May 29th, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Trustee Tuminello? All right, hearing none. Next is the Board Policy Oversight Committee report by Trustee Moore.
Good afternoon. The committee met on April 30th to review 3 policies and proposed revisions to the college manual: the trustee emeritus policy, student withdrawal and refund for extenuating circumstances policy, and tuition and residency classification policy are presented to the board as information items at this afternoon's meeting. Following the October 2024 board retreat, the committee conducted a thorough review of the trustee emeritus policy. Based on this review, the committee recommends several revisions: requiring trustees to have served at least 2 terms, or 8 years, to be eligible; expanding the criteria used to define significant contributions; eliminating the 1-year waiting period before former trustees may be considered; changing the approval process from a unanimous vote to a majority vote; clearly outlining the privileges and responsibilities of trustee emeritus status; introducing a process for revocation, permitting exceptions for candidates who do not meet all eligibility criteria, and updating the policy format to align with the procedure on the development of policies and procedures, including the addition of a purpose and scope section. The board currently has an interim student withdrawal for extenuating circumstances policies, which became effective on July 1, 2024. At the June 18, 2024 Board of Trustees meeting, the committee recommended that the board chair delegate authority to the president to establish interim policy in response to new state legislation. This legislation mandates institutional policies that allow withdrawal for reasons such as illness, injury, or mental health concerns, and requires corresponding tuition and fee refund provisions. Per policy protocol, interim policies remain in effect for up to 12 months, and this interim policy will expire on July 1, 2025. Revisions for the final policy refine definitions and incorporate community feedback. The board also has a tuition and residency classification policy. At the same June 18, 2024 meeting, the committee similarly recommended that the board chair delegate authority to the president to ensure compliance with legal standards, address institutional policy gaps, and clarify tuition eligibility for deferred action for childhood arrivals students. This interim policy will expire on July 8, 2025. Revisions for the final policy further refines definitions, integrates community feedback, and removes the reporting section, which is better addressed at the institutional level. The committee also recommends revising Section 1, Introduction of the College Manual, and fully removing Section 2, Board of Trustees bylaws. Currently, the board maintains oversight of the College Manual. The committee supports the recommendation to transfer oversight of the manual from the board to the internal college operations and processes rather than matters of board-level governance. This recommendation is consistent with the board's 2021 action to remove constituency group charters from the college manuals, recognizing their operational focus and deeming them outside the scope of board-level governance. To further streamline the amendment process, the college proposes adopting a more efficient and consistent revision policy at the college level. Revisions from constituency groups would follow charter amendment procedures, while administration revisions would follow the standard policy developmental process, including opportunities for community input. The committee recommends fully removing Section 2, bylaws, from the manual, as bylaws fall under the sole authority of the board. They will continue to be publicly posted on the college website. These 3 revised policies and proposed college manual revisions will be presented to the board at action items at the June meeting. Madam Chair, this concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Questions? Great. Well, we move on again with Trustee Moore and the Budget Committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Chen. The Board Budget Committee met via Zoom on May the 8th to discuss the following topics: fiscal year 2025 operating budget financial status report and the fiscal year 2026 budget. The meeting started with an update on the fiscal year 2025 financial status report as of March 31st. The projections remain consistent with prior reports and show an overall balanced budget. As noted in my last report, the plant operations and maintenance functional area is projected to exceed the current appropriation authority due to increased utility rates and snow removal costs. To address this shortfall, the college is collaborating with the county to seek approval from the county council for a funding authority transfer, also known as fourth quarter transfer. This transfer will reallocate projected savings from other budget lines to cover the anticipated increase in costs. Next, the committee discussed the fiscal year 2026 budget and where we are in the process, noting the college budget representation to the county council was held yesterday. And I would like to just say that Vice President Beardmore, Dr. Lindsay, and Assistant Vice President Andrew Little did a fantastic job presenting. They did a great job. And the county council is scheduled to finalize the budget on June 13th. The college requested $3 million in additional county funding, but the county executive office budget released on May 1st did not fully fund the request and provides only $1.2 million in new funding in the fiscal year 2026. As a result, the committee reviewed the plan to address the reduction. The college was able to balance the county funding reduction of $1.8 million by reducing the compensation pool from 6% to 5% and reducing other expenditures by $810,000 based on the revised projections and increasing the budget for turnover. This means that the college will need to hold positions vacant longer during the year to ensure a balanced budget. Many of these adjustments were discussed during the budget development process with the committee, with amounts revised based on current estimates. This plan does not require board approval because it does not alter the tuition and fee rates, and the county is the ultimate appropriation authority for the college. Instead, this is an accounting exercise to align with new county funding level. Regarding the capital budget, most of the county's charges were minor and do not alter the plans for the college's major priority for fiscal year 2026. The college will continue conversation with the county to ensure planned projects are addressed in future budget cycles. The committee also discussed the continued challenges anticipated as we plan and work through fiscal year 2026. The Maryland Association of Community Colleges has advised us to prepare for potential state revenue shortfalls as a result of changes at the federal level. This will likely result in the Maryland General Assembly conducting a special session in the fall to adjust the state budget with the potential for a state funding reduction to the college during fiscal year 2026. Overall, we're grateful for the support received from the state and county executive. At the budget representation to the county council, we ask for their support to pass the county's executive's budget as submitted. Despite the difficult decisions, and I will say they were difficult, necessary to balance the budget, the Board of Trustees remains committed to supporting our dedicated faculty and staff and providing the highest quality learning environment for our students. We are pleased to be able to provide the 5% compensation adjustment pool for fiscal year 2026 despite fiscal challenges. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Trustee Moore? Thank you, Trustee Moore,
Thank
for
you.
your yeoman's work on the Budget Committee. It is not an easy task, so thank you. Next is the Facilities Committee report with Trustee Uvala.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The committee met via Zoom on May 6th to discuss the following topics: May procurements, future procurements, and campus projects. The committee also discussed the future meetings. Next, the committee discussed the two procurements that you approved tonight, and I'd like to just help my colleagues understand what happens when you see such a big disparity in the bid that's awarded in the next bid. Because this does happen from time to time. There's somebody who doesn't like my presentation over there. What happens is you'll have people that'll bid courtesy bids because they don't really want the work, but if you want to pay that price, they'll do it. We even found that to happen with Whiting Turner, who's done so much work on this campus. They had bid on some subsequent jobs, and they were off the charts with it. So that's normally what happens. Just rest assured that Jim Taylor and his team sit down and go over the scope of work with the winning bidder to be sure that the deliverables that are included will be covered. And I'm pleased to tell you that there is some minority participation in that second bridge repair to the extent of using a subcontractor that's going to complete about 15% of the work. So it wasn't real clear in the presentation, but that does have minority participation. Next, the committee discussed the list of future procurements in fiscal year 2025. Committee received an update on campus projects, specifically the 2026 Facilities Master Plan, the Walkways Project, the Floristano Building renovation, the Dragon Building renovation, and the Broadneck Trail. And again, since I serve as a liaison to the Facilities Future Master Plan, I will tell you that the work they're doing, both supported by staff and by our consultant is incredible. The feasibility, the use of each space in this campus has made a real meal out of, so it's pretty impressive. Regarding the facilities master plan, an update was provided at the end of April for the college community, and a link to the video was shared with the board in last week's weekly update. The Facilities Committee and the full board will have an opportunity to review the draft plan in late summer and early fall, which is actually going to be a little earlier than we originally anticipated. The plan will be presented to the full board for the approval in January 2026, and I'll continue to keep the board apprised of our progress until that date. The Walkways project is complete, and the Flores Tunnel and Dragon Building renovation projects are on schedule and within budget. The portion of the county's Broadneck Trail project that impacts the college is also almost complete, with only a few punch list items that are outstanding, and they got a lot of work to do beyond us if you drive down the parkway there. Last, the committee also received an update on repairs that are needed for the base of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. statue. It wasn't vandalism. The panel of the base fell off a few weekends ago, and the college is consulting with an engineer to determine the appropriate next steps. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Uvala? Okay, thank you. Moving on, we have the AACC Foundation report, and first we'll have Trustee Keller read us the student donor letter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear donor, I'm deeply grateful to the Brick Company's Majorie Groom Scholarship donor for our generous support. Receiving the scholarship means so much to me because it allows me to start a new chapter in my life, one where I can fully dedicate myself to mastering a craft I have been passionate about ever since I was first introduced to welding in high school. Your generosity is helping me take the first important steps towards achieving my goal of mastering the skills necessary to build a successful future in the field I love. This is my first time attending AACC. With my battle with dyslexia and ADHD, I have struggled with traditional book learning. I have learned that I soar in hands-on environments, and that is a major reason I chose this trade as a career path. The scholarship is not just financial support, it's a meaningful encouragement to continue pursuing my education and achieving my academic and personal goals. As a student, it may be challenging to balance all the responsibilities that come with higher education, and the scholarship alleviates some of the financial burden, allowing me to focus more intently on my studies and ambitions. Once again, thank you for your generosity and for believing in my potential. I will carry the spirit of the scholarship with me as I continue my education, and I will work diligently to live up to the expectations that come with this honor. Scholarship recipient.
Thank you, Trustee Keller. And now for the foundation report. As of April 30th, 2025, the AACC's foundation's fundraising total is $3.54 million in gifts and commitments. The AACC Foundation is pleased to announce a new 3-year grant from the Philip E. and Carol R. Radcliffe Foundation. During last week's AACC business pitch competition, Carlene Cassidy, CEO of the Radcliffe Foundation, announced a $1.68 million grant to prepare the next generation of entrepreneurs and workers for critical roles in our community and local economy. This funding will provide scholarships and additional support to students in the Entrepreneurial Studies Institute, Health Sciences Department, and Workforce Development programs. We are extremely grateful for the Radcliffe Foundation's ongoing partnership and continued commitment to AACC students. This concludes my report. And now we are moving on to the nominating committee. Trustee Pastrana.
As per the board bylaws, at its May meeting, the election of the chair and vice chair shall take place. At the April meeting, the nominating committee proposed the following trustees for the office of chair and vice chair: Dr. Nadine Sheehan, chair; Joyce Price Jones, vice chair. It is the committee's recommendation that the Board of Trustees elect Dr. Nadine Chien as chair and Joyce Price Jones as vice chair of the Anne Arundel County Community College Board of Trustees beginning July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
The main motion in front of the board now is a recommendation that the Board of Trustees elect Dr. Nadine Chen as chair and Joyce Price Jones as vice chair of the Anne Arundel Community College Board of Trustees beginning July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion, please. Approved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, will you take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approved?
trustee Keller,
Approved.
trustee Moore,
Approve.
trustee Pastrone,
Approve?
trustee Rodriguez,
Approve.
trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
trustee Tuminello,
Approve.
trustee Uvala,
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. There are no other committee reports for the month of May. And now for the president's report, Dr. Lindsay.
Thank you. As we approach the end of the semester, April and the beginning of May have been filled with meaningful events, honors, and award celebrations recognizing the accomplishments of our students, our faculty, and staff. Some are the highlighted options. The fourth annual Impact and Excellence Awards, co-hosted by SGA President Merritt Dale, honored exceptional AACC students for their academic achievement and leadership, and celebrated faculty, staff, and community members for their unwavering dedication to student success. A special thanks to Trustee Keller, recipient of 3 prestigious honors at the Impact and Excellence Awards dinner on April the 25th. The Diversity and Inclusion Excellence Award, the Distinguished Leadership Award for Student Member of the Board of Trustees, and the Determined by Any Means Award. The release party for Volume 4 of the Journal for Emerging Scholarship showcased peer review undergraduate research and highlighted the scholarly excellence cultivated here at AACC. And if anybody needs a book, we have several in the back still. I'm proud to share that AACC has been designated a 2025-2026 military-friendly school at the silver level and has also earned the 2025-2026 military spouse-friendly school designation, an affirmation of our commitment to supporting the military community and their families. This May, the college is celebrating both Jewish American History Month and Asian American and Pacific Islanders Heritage Month, a time to honor the rich cultural traditions and contributions of these communities to our nation's history. The Truxell Library team has thoroughly curated resources to deepen our collective appreciation and understanding of the Jewish American and Asian American and Pacific Islander heritage. Looking ahead, the college will proudly participate in the Annapolis Pride Parade Festival on Saturday, Saturday, I am bumping up here. Saturday, May 31st, 2025. The event will be led by the Office of Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, Access, and Leadership and the Gender Sexuality Alliance Student Organization. All students, faculty, staff, and other family members are invited to attend and encouraged. And that concludes my first report. And now I'm going to ask Monica Rossa to come back up to the mic and talk about our strategic plan update.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay. This is an update that happens only once every 4 or 5 years because I have the opportunity to provide you a quick update on the current strategic plan and then introduce the new draft plan as an information item for tonight's meeting. Our current plan, Engagement Matters 2, Excellence Through Innovation, was a continuation of Engagement Matters Pathways to Completion, which centered our work on equity and completion. There are 3 goals for this plan: entry and engagement, progress and growth, retention and completion, and there are 4 objectives: excellence, engagement, innovation, and resources. How we achieve our goals is through our strategic activities, which are the bullet points underneath those 4. I'm sure these slides look familiar. And the key performance indicators are how we measure our progress and reflects the efforts of the faculty and staff that support the strategic plan. Now, many of the KPIs related to our 3 goals of the plan were shared by Dr. Patterson in her enrollment report last month, including credit headcount, FTE, dual enrollment, and retention. So I'm just going to kind of briefly highlight some of the initiatives from our current strategic plan. The blueprint for Maryland's future and K-12 partnerships, that was one of our priorities, thanks to the legislators. And we really focused our efforts on dually enrolled students, their onboarding and preparing them for success. We established cross-functional data-informed teams to focus on planning, outreach, financial support, course success, classroom experience, and student engagement. For innovation, how can we make things easier for our faculty, staff, and students? We implemented many behind-the-scenes upgrades to critical infrastructure, and now we have our SAS readiness project, and that's a huge college-wide effort right now. Strategic alignment of resources. Just shortly, Dr. Milner will be presenting an update to you about how we have operationalized the academic portfolio and resources review. And strategic collaboration between the AAC Foundation and the leadership, college leadership to attract new private and public investment. Vali Melson will be providing an update on that progress. Like how I dish out all the updates to everyone else, he'll be presenting at next month's meeting. But our hope is that for the past 5 years, through presentations and data shared, college updates from faculty, staff, and students, and events that you've attended, like the the capstone dinner, the Journal of Emerging Scholarship, that you have seen the results of the thoughtful planning and intentional efforts behind our strategic plan. So what's next? So included in your materials, there's a narrative detailing the development of our new strategic plan, and again, I'm just going to kind of briefly highlight. To inform our strategic planning process, we started with and completed an environmental scan of external and internal factors. These are just some of the factors that we looked at. The diverse and shifting population needs in Anne Arundel County. We looked nationally about the enrollment declines and the demographic cliff. Can't talk today, it's been a long day. We looked at economic and workforce needs, the real post-pandemic realities, the technology disparities that we have, the ever-changing state, federal, and policy influences that we're experiencing, the economic disparities in our community and our community's well-being. We also reviewed the opportunities for improvement from the 2023 Middle State Self-Study and Site Visit, and then we looked at the current state of the college. Enrollment is up, persistent and retention is up. We have a talented workforce providing solutions to community needs, but we still have room to grow. And as Dr. Lindsay often says, we should not rest on our laurels. So as many as you may know, the college is a member of Achieving the Dream, and that's a nationally recognized organization that supports community colleges in putting students first. Now, some of the trustees may remember this slide as Dr. Karen Stout, who's the president and CEO of Achieving the Dream, presented this at the MAC Annual Trustees Conference in January. So there has been a paradigm shift. In the beginning, community colleges were about access. And about 10 to 15 years ago, it was access plus completion, which was our introduction to our pathways. And about 5 years ago, it was access plus the completion of a credential with labor market value. And now the Achieving the Dream has introduced the Community Vibrancy Framework. A community college credential is a milestone on the journey to equitable social and economic mobility. At the September board meeting, our board chair set the expectations for the college. And as we developed our next strategic plan, our North Star is that the college remains viable, sustainable, and a leader for the future. So these are the assumptions for our new strategic plan. Well, it may be an oxymoron in higher education, but we do need to be fast, fluid, and flexible in responding to external and internal needs. As a leader college with distinction, we are going to embrace the Achieving the Dream Community Vibrancy Framework. Our goals are grounded in our college values, and there's going to be one objective and one outcome per goal. There are going to be indicators at the board and college level with benchmarks. And we're recommending that this be a 5-year plan fiscal year 2026 to 2030. And this is going to align, and I even hesitate to say this because our next middle state self-study visit is going to be in 2020, 2030, 2031. And so, but we do believe that as we go through this self-study process, it's going to help provide us insights from our assessments and feedback that will help inform the next planning cycle. And how we implement this strategic plan is through what we call the college plans, and those are actually where the specific actions are and where the divisional activities and what the units are doing. And then we will work to communicate the college plan throughout the college community. So the elements in this strategic plan, we have a purpose that supports our vision, mission, and values. We've included a strategic plan glossary. I think it's really important, especially as we're having more like broader objectives and goals, that when we're actually saying these words, we know what a vibrant resource means. Each value is going to have one goal, there's an objective and an outcome, and they have indicators and benchmarks. And I just want to kind of highlight on the indicators that we have listed. Most of those indicators are aligned with the Maryland Higher Education Commission's Performance Accountability Report, or the PAR report. And this is a report that the board approves each September. And so in that narrative, we've kind of mapped out what each of the indicators are and where the source is for where we got it. So the college is recommending that we establish the new benchmarks in fall 2025 to align with the new PAR cycle, because these benchmarks will be in place for 5 years, which matches the duration of our proposed strategic plan. And we also anticipate that MHEC is going to provide us with guidance in setting meaningful and measurable benchmarks during this process. So that's why benchmarks aren't included, because we'd like to do that in the fall when we do it with PAR. So now here it is, AACC Forward 2030. The purpose. This strategic plan will move AACC forward as a dynamic and student-centered college that delivers exceptional learning experiences while protecting the long-term viability and sustainability of the institution. The plan is grounded in our core values, ensuring the college remains committed to putting students first in everything we do. For the value of community and relationships, our proposed goal is to be a vibrant resource in the community, with the objective to nurture the college impact in the community through mutually beneficial connections. The outcome is external partnerships are cultivated to effectively address the evolving needs of our community. For the value of equity and inclusion, our goal, provide access to all. The objective, create a culture where all feel welcomed, valued, and supported so they may continually grow and succeed. And the outcome, all students feel empowered with a sense of belonging and agency while accessing affordable, high-quality higher education. For the value of innovation and creativity, the goal is to ensure academic excellence. The objective, to provide innovative, rigorous, and evidence-based teaching, collaborative and flexible learning opportunities, holistic student support services, and college-wide resources that empower students to achieve their goals. And the outcome is a responsive and forward-looking institution that evolves to meet the changing needs of its learners, advancing student success through continuous improvement and assessment and the strategic use of resources to preserve institutional stability. For the value of opportunity, the goal is to drive economic and social mobility. The objective of student learning experiences are aligned to create education to workforce pathways that address community needs and enhance opportunities for financial growth and career advancement. And the outcome is the completion of degrees, certificates, and credentials. They continue to align with regional trends and demographic shifts to prepare students for a financially sustaining income. For the value of positivity, we want to foster a student-centered culture, and the objective is to provide holistic support for students, ensuring their academic, personal, and professional growth through engaging activities and experiences, with the outcome of a positive, vibrant community that leads to student achievement and success for all. So that is your information item for today's meeting. You had a lot of materials as background information in this beautiful brochure that Strategic Communications did. And at this point, take some questions. This will be brought forth as an action item at the June 17th meeting. So right now, any questions?
Any questions, comments? Well, Monica, what can we say? Amazing, absolutely.
Well, this really reflects the work of mostly the people behind me and our strategic planning council, and it's been a pleasure to actually lead the campus through this exercise, so.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of visiting your office
Yes.
on numerous occasions to pick up this binder. And there were pages pasted to the walls and stickies, and so it was mind-boggling. But to see it reduced to this is just purely amazing. So thank you so much for your hard work.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Milner will now be giving an update on the academic portfolio and the resources review update, timely following Monica's presentation.
Right.
Yeah, I got to follow that, jeez. This academic year, we operationalized our Academic Portfolio and Resources Review, or APR, which is a critical initiative aimed at enhancing our academic offerings. This review is not just a routine check, it's a strategic move to ensure we align our resources with the evolving needs of our students and community and the job market. As we delve into this process, please keep in mind that our ultimate goal is to foster an environment of continuous improvement, innovation in education, and relevance throughout our community. With the endorsement of the Board of Trustees, we partnered with RPK Group to conduct a thorough review of our academic portfolio and resources. This collaboration spanned from fall 2022 to spring 23, focusing on identifying our strengths and areas for improvement. The framework we developed aims to enhance efficiency, meet student demand, and support data-informed decision-making. The insights and recommendations presented to the board in May 2023 guided our strategic direction as we moved forward. Following the RPK Group's report, our Division of Learning was proactive in establishing a framework for future assessment. We recognize the need for additional data collection, especially considering the anomalies that were caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, we were committed to utilizing this new framework to make informed decisions about our academic offerings, ensuring that they are relevant and effective for our student and community's needs. To inform our recommendations, we reviewed a comprehensive set of data. This includes a snapshot of each program for the 2023 to 2024 academic year, examining key metrics such as graduation rates, enrollment figures, and employment outlooks. Additionally, we conducted a 5-year analysis to understand trends in headcount and persistence rates. Qualitative insights from faculty and administration further enriched our understanding of program performance and demand. Now, let's look at the recommendations that emerged from our review. These suggestions are designed to enhance our academic offerings and ensure that they align, once again, both with student needs, community needs, and market demands. Each recommendation is backed by thousands of data points and insights gathered throughout the review process, aiming for a strategic approach to program management. This table provides a detailed background of our program recommendations across various schools, all 5 of our schools. Out of 160 programs, we recommend retaining 87, revising 29, and phasing out or consolidating 44. This data-informed approach ensured that we focus our resources where they can have the greatest impact while continuing to allow students diverse opportunities for exploration. The recommendations were from faculty academic chairs, assistant deans and directors, and deans. I supported all recommendations. In summary, our analysis indicates that 54.4% of programs will be retained, while 18.1% will undergo revisions, some very, very deep, some not as deep, and 27.5% will be phased out or consolidated. This strategic distribution reflects our commitment to maintaining quality while also addressing areas that require significant improvement. It was essential and will continue to be essential to communicate these changes effectively to all stakeholders to ensure a smooth transition. I shared the full report and presentation via email with the entire Division of Learning on April 1st. Sorry for that date, it just happened that day. I felt that the delivering of the 70-plus page report and the 30-plus slide deck via email instead of at an in-person forum would be more reliable, more viable, and better understood so that each person could take the time to digest the detailed information and ask questions at their own pace and at their own comfort levels. Our findings suggest that the recommendations to eliminate certain programs will have a limited impact on full-time faculty. However, we must be mindful of low-demand programs that are still recommended for retention, as their elimination could significantly affect faculty positions in the future. Balancing program viability with faculty stability is crucial as we move forward with this year's recommendations. We also recommend revising certain programs to allow time for improvement in their metrics. These programs will be subject to annual reviews to assess their progress. If they do not show improvement within a year, we will consider phasing them out or consolidating them further. Additionally, exploring opportunities to transition some programs to non-credit offerings could better align with the community needs and our institutional mission. Ongoing analysis will be vital as we implement these recommendations. We will continue to closely monitor course fill rates, course section management, and cancellation rates, and overall headcount to ensure our programs remain viable and responsive to students' needs. Additionally, evaluating our staffing and organizational structure and needs will help us optimize resources across each school, ensuring we are best positioned for student success and institutional sustainability. Any questions? I think that's the last slide.
Any questions? Comments?
I do have a question. Dr. Milner, why would switching a course to non-credit, how does that make for better alignment with student and community demand?
It allows us time and opportunity to see if there is actual demand, right? To see if students in the community or learners, adult learners specifically, in the community have an opportunity to take a course, see if we can gather more than 7, 8 students who would like to be a part of this, and then we would consider transitioning that to the credit side of our school.
Thank you. And is that about what you're looking for in order to carry a course? Is there a number of students that's the minimum, or a percentage?
We usually start the conversation at about 12 students to see if that can enroll. However, we've made a great many exceptions over the years where we've run courses as low as 4, 5, or 6,
Right.
depending on what the students' needs are.
Right, right. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Trustee Moore.
I would like to thank you. This is a remarkably difficult process for everyone, and we appreciate what you're doing, or I should speak for myself. I appreciate what you're doing, even though it's really difficult. And it sounds like this was done in a very thoughtful manner with a lot of input. And I, for one, greatly appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Moore.
I would like to echo Trustee Moore's comments. I know this has been a long journey, which this board started even before I arrived to this board. And to see you so diligently reduce the request by this board to reach that healthy, sustainable vision that we have for this college, to bring in data, hard data, to make decisions. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Chair.
Thank you.
Dr. Milner, thank you for your leadership. She is the lead VP on this particular project, and it has been difficult, and she's working really, really well with everybody to make sure that there's buy-in and understanding. So just want to echo, thank you. Okay. Now we are moving on to, Andy's sick today. Did Forum send a representative for Andy to do the presentation? Okay. ASO, no report? Is that right? Okay. Here it says no report.
Yes. There is no report this month. Thank you very much.
Is that what you're going to say?
He's looking for applause.
Good job.
All right, I know Caitlin's here. Caitlin, come on up, reference to the professional and support staff organization.
Yes, just a brief one for you. Hello, esteemed board members. As PSSO is winding down for the academic year, we just have a few kind of last items to get through. On April 30th, we held a special meeting that spotlighted 3 unrelated but important items. This included end-of-the-year updates from Human Resources, presentation of proposed updates to the PSSO charter with the hope of having those go into effect prior to the start of next year, and a Meet the Candidates session for the FY26 leadership team ahead of our election season, which is now happening. HR was able to join us to share some important details about changes in leave time, which they have shared with us already once before, but just doing refreshers, as well as FML and professional recognition processes, as well as just being a space to answer any questions that folks had for Human Resources as we wind down for the year. Following HR's presentation, PSSO leadership, in partnership with the Nominating and Elections Committee, shared a project that we have so diligently been working on since last spring, so almost a full year, proposed updates to the PSSO charter. Upon reviewing the charter, we discovered that there were several areas that were outdated and inaccurate, and so we went through, combing through line by line, piece by piece over the last year to propose a redlined version that better reflects what PSSO is already doing at the college. This is currently under review with a 15 business day review process ending later this month. Truly, it has been such a labor of love for the PSSO leadership to spend time with this document, getting to know it as we have, and we're really excited to hopefully build something that will very much outlive our leadership time. As we closed out the special meeting with the Meet the Candidates session, here candidates for president, vice president, and secretary gave brief speeches to the constituency group so that everyone can be informed in their voting as we select our leadership team for FY26. Elections will close out later this month, and new leadership will be announced prior to the end of the spring semester, which will allow us a hopefully smooth transition period as any outgoing officers leave and incoming officers come in. Later this week, we'll be welcoming PVP for a special meeting where they will have the floor to share any updates from their areas to our constituents directly. We have one more business meeting following that on May 28th, which will just be a standard business meeting, and then we will close out our year together in June with an end-of-the-year party with some snacks and games, and we have an activity so that folks can provide feedback for us about how the year went for them. Committee slates are nearly filled for FY26, with just a few vacancies remaining, but we are in the process of doing some targeted recruitment with the hope of entering the year with completely filled committee slates. so that everyone can hit the ground running in the work that we're doing. The same can be said for our area representatives and alternatives. We are in the midst of doing that recruitment now with the hope of moving into summer with full slates or nearly full slates for those. Thank you so much for your time. I'm happy to answer questions.
Questions, comments? Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Meredith Dales, President for the Student Government Association.
Hello, all. SGA has been working tirelessly this past month to serve our fellow students. SGA was honored to represent AACC at the Impact and Excellence Awards ceremony. SGA has successfully collaborated with Health and Wellness to hold 2 naloxone certifications and overdose training. The second General Forum was held Friday, May 2nd. We were pleased to hear from Monica, who gave the students an overview of the strategic plan that we all just heard. SGA provided an update for upcoming events as well as leadership transition. SGA collaborated with Leadership Challenge Program and Super Science Club to organize our Earth Day celebration. The event was a success. Leadership Challenge Program and SGA were able to bring awareness to the campus trails, healing paths, and organize an Ivy cleanup with the lead of Super Science Club and assistance of facilities. Student engagement was positive and exciting. A drafted naturalist campus map was created identifying the trails, the BMPs, streams, protected gardens on campus, and the healing paths behind Annex B. A meditation workshop was held May 6th to introduce students to the stress management benefits of meditation. The event took a nice pivot, bringing to light the various personnel with invested interest in this mission. SGA was pleased to support Stressless Fest last Wednesday. SGA's May Momentum event was a successful celebration as well. May being Movement Month, we had lawn games, dance company and cheer club were highlighted performances. The event was a tabling opportunity for clubs to showcase achievements, leadership role transitions, and empower a strong bridge from fall to spring. Thank you for this opportunity to share SGA's efforts and our events. Does anyone have any questions before I conclude my report?
Questions, comments? Thank you so much. Wonderful report.
Thank you all.
We do not have a report from the faculty organization, so I'll move into the Maryland Association of Community College activities. The college did host a planning retreat for the Maryland Association of Community Colleges fundraising professionals on May 1st and 2nd. Representatives from 13 of the 16 Maryland community colleges participated, and the retreat was facilitated by Volley. 2025 MAC Legislative Committee report, which summarizes the highlights of the 2025 session and outlines the key bills. The committee forwarded throughout the session is included in your board book. And another notable highlight is that despite the $1.5 million reduction in funding this session, statute was amended to allow non-credit workforce training programs to be included in the Maryland Community College Promise Scholarship. So that was good news. Okay. And then I have an action item for the board.
Yes.
The action item is such, dealing with a part-time faculty collective bargaining agreement. Pleased to share that the following series of good faith negotiations between Anne Arundel Community College, AKA the college, and the Service Employees International Unit, local SEIU, did come to agreement to approve, and that's what you'll be doing tonight, is approving the part-time collective bargaining agreement, which will be effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. The collective bargaining agreement includes provisions that are largely consistent with existing college practices and policies. Articles in this comprehensive 3-year agreement include union recognition, management functions, definitions, non-discrimination, grievance procedures, seniority, discipline. I'm not going to read them all, but that'll give you a sample. And the part-time faculty did ratify this agreement on April the 25th, 2025. So upon approval of the Board of Trustees, the CBA will take effect July 1st, 2025. There are no significant fiscal implications beyond the compensation and benefits outlined in the agreement, which were planned for in the FY 2026 Budget Development Program. Much of the collective bargaining agreement memorializes current college practices or requirements subject to the approval of the FY 2026 operating budget request. All enhancements are projected to be sustainable within the existing budget allocation of the college. The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the part-time faculty collective bargaining agreement between Anne Arundel Community College and the Service Employees International Union, effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay. Is there a motion to approve the part-time faculty collective bargaining agreement?
Move to approve the CBA.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, will you please take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approve.
trustee Keller,
Approved.
trustee Moore,
Approve.
trustee Pastroni,
Approve?
trustee Rodriguez,
Approve.
trustee Stanton Buttram. She's having some audio issues on her end. Trustee Tuminello,
Approve.
trustee Uvala,
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you.
And Dr. Chen, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Lindsay. Is there any new business before the board? This is a reminder that the next public session meeting will be Tuesday, June 17th. At this time, is there a motion to close the meeting to protect the privacy or reputation of an individual with respect to a matter that is not related to public business pursuant to Section 3-305B2 of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Code?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, please take the vote.
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approved.
trustee Keller,
Approved.
trustee Moore,
Approve.
trustee Pastroni,
Approve?
trustee Rodriguez,
Approve.
trustee Stanton Buttram, trustee Tuminello,
Approve.
trustee Uvala.
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend despite the, wonderful evening despite the rain. I'm already into the weekend. This meeting is adjourned.